Okay, before we go much further, we've got to talk some about file paths, because you're not just going to want to use the data that comes with the tutorials. You want to use your own data. And what I've done here is I've copied and pasted in all the imports that we have from the tutorials. And then I'm just going to get rid of the file paths from tutorials. I don't need those. What I want to do is I want to work with some other data. And here's my Lab 2 folder. And notice that that's where I've saved my script. It's in the same folder, Lab 2. And over here I've got some Humboldt County data. Now as you collect data, I highly recommend set up an organizational structure on your computer. Here I've got a GIS data folder with my original data, counties, Humboldt County, and then Humboldt County shapefiles, and then inside of Humboldt County shapefiles where I keep all those files, each one in its own folder. Having this type of organizational structure is really going to help you out to be able to find data, especially as it increases in size. Now, what I'm going to do right off is I'm just going to take this entire shapefile, remembering that a shapefile is not just the SHP, it's all the files that have the same prefix on them, the same main file name, and I'm just going to copy that into my lab folder. It's not the best approach, but it'll get us started. And then what I want to be able to do, say spaview.show, and what I can do is I can just take the name of the shapefile, I've got to have .shp as well, and I'm going to paste that in here, but I'm going to put it in double quotes as well because it's a string, so it's got to be in double quotes, otherwise it's got to be Python stuff. And there's my county outline. It worked. Okay, now that's what works if you have the Python script in the same folder as the shapefile. You don't need to do anything else. However, if I put 4 or 5 shapefiles in here, this is going to get kind of ugly, right? It's going to be a bunch of files in here. It's going to be hard to find things. So we want to be more organized than that. So instead, I'm going to create a county boundary file. And I'm going to go ahead and put my county shapefile in there. Okay, now if I run this, it's not going to find it. It's going to give me an error because it can't find it. No such file or directory. This is one you'll see on a regular basis. Okay, what I need to do is I need to tell it to go from our script folder, the folder the script is in, to our county boundary. You need to tell Python that you need to go into the county boundary folder, okay, and then into the shapefile. Now notice I used a / here. Talk a little about that in a second. Okay, now we run it. Now it knows to go into the county boundary folder and then grab the shapefile. All right, now with Python you can use a / for file, okay, or you can use 2 backslashes. There's a reason for that. Backslash, and the way I remember this is that the backslash is the one that looks like it's falling backwards or to the left. Okay, we're moving from left to right, so the backslash is falling backwards, / is falling forwards. That's how I remember it. So 1 / or 2 backslashes. The reason for this is because a backslash is a special character. In other words, if we do something like a \n, that will actually put a line feed. It'll act like there's a new line. So n stands for new line. There's also tabs. So these are special characters. So you put a backslash in, it's going to be expecting a special character. So that's not what we want. We want backslash. So the way to get a backslash, because backslash is a special character, is to put in 2 backslashes. I know it doesn't make sense, but it's programming. It doesn't have to make sense, and we just have to do it the way the folks who originally designed the language decided to do it. Okay, so that works. Yay! Either way works, forward or backslash. Choose whatever you like. Okay. Now these are called relative paths, and you can move down into folders, and you can also move back out of folders. So I'm going to show you now that if I want to share this shapefile between multiple folders, I can go ahead and cut that, move it up 1 level, paste it here. Okay, now I can share it across my different projects, which is a good thing if you're going to be using the same data over and over again on multiple labs or in the future on multiple projects. But I've got to be able to tell this script how to go up 1 folder and then into this folder. And the way we do that is with ... slash. Okay, forward or backslash, either one, well, forward or 2 backslashes. So this tells the Python or the computer to go up one folder and then go down into county boundary and then find this shapefile. Okay, and these are called relative paths because we're doing relative browsing through the directory structure. Yeah, it worked. Okay, and you could move it up again and add another ... backslash, okay? And then you could put it down in another folder and you could add another folder here. So you can do any number of ... slash or going into other folders, but you do have to put the ... at the start, okay, and go up to the folder that's the level you want to be at and then go back down again. A little confusing at first, but you'll get used to it. Now, the other thing you can do is if you have stuff all over your computer, which I don't recommend, try and keep things organized, but sometimes like I need to get into this folder, which is off on a different drive and everything, what you can do is you can shift right click, and then in the menu that pops up, this is only on Windows machines, you will see copy as path. This is very handy. Okay, and again what I did was shift, right click, copy as path. When I do that, I can paste in the path. Whoops, it automatically puts it in double quotes. How handy. Okay, and there is what we call an absolute path. Now it's called an absolute path because it goes all the way back to my drive letter. So it goes all the way up to the top of the file system to drive D, and then it's going to go right back down into where my shapefile is. However, we're not done yet. If we run this, still going to get an error. Don't worry about getting errors. It happens all the time. Okay, what we've got to do is we've got to convert our single backslashes into double backslashes. And again, you know, you'll miss one and then run it again, you get an error. That's okay. It takes a while to get used to finding them. And now hopefully it works. Yay! Okay, so different ways of accessing files in different places in the directory. Hope that helps.